Now the second thing is a very important is that requirement of the apartment buyer, right? So that is most critical things. Requirement of the buyer. Okay, so there are 5 requirements we generally look forward. Okay, you guys know it is, one is the location, second is the budget, the third is what is that? Readiness of the project. Readiness of the project and configuration and purpose of buy. So understand this is a very important, this 5 points from your each buyer. So when you get a lead, especially when you get a lead from whatever the source, I would say marketing or maybe whatever source, when you get a lead, today we call this lead as an opportunity. In a Salesforce term, we call it as an opportunity. When you get this opportunity, why the opportunity? Because we can make money out of it with this client. If it is talked well, we can make a money out of it. So whenever you get a lead or opportunity, or we can call it as a prospect, so these are the same word for this particular things. You need to really understand this 5 part of from the clients, right? It is kind of a match fixing game. The well you aware about this 5 points, that easy you can close for your deal, right? Again, I'm saying the well you aware about this 5 points from the client, the easy will be your sale. Okay, so the first thing is that the location. So I can give maybe a points of this. This is a 1 point. This is a one point for each things. Okay, it is kind of a point system. Until unless a person suitable for their requirement, 3 out of 5, the sale will not happen. You understood what I tried to say? So there are 5 points is there. Out of 5 points, minimum at 3 points, it is kind of a match fixing. Maybe today you see a lot of horoscope matching or whatever matching is there. So it is similar to that. This is a requirement of the buyer. Now if I am coming to buy a property, I look this 5 requirements, right? Until unless you are able to match the 3 requirement with this requirement, then the sale will not happen. So most of the people will be failing. The number 1 issue will what happen, they will not able to understand their requirement. That is a number 1 failure happen. The second thing is happen, they are not able to convince them. So in this case also, if you look at it, maybe a budget, okay, majority of the case, the budget you will not able to convince to any client. Now I come and I say my budget is only 1 crore and the product what you need to offer it is a 2 crore. It is very difficult for us to convince him about the budget, right? But location, again, readiness of the project and configuration and purpose of buy, we can somehow convince them and we can easily get our 3 out of 5, right? Now a client, example where client is come, we take example of this property. It is a town park project. What is the status of this project? It is an under construction property. So the readiness of the project, we have a 3 categories are there. Can you explain what is the 3 category? One is ready to move in, second is under construction and newly launched project, right? There are 3 categories. Now if I take example of this property, Shobha Town Park, which is an under construction stage at this point of time. So one client is coming, but he want a property in maybe in a Koramangala. You understand? He want a property in a Koramangala. He want a property of ready to move in. He maybe got a budget of 3 crore and is a purpose of buy. It can be 2 again. It can be end use or investment. Okay. So the purpose of buy can be classified into 2. One is end use and investment. Configuration, again you guys know it can be 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK and 4 BHK, the configuration, right? So The possibility, now I'm just giving you one example of a client. He want to buy in this property, but he looking for a ready to move in. Maybe he want to buy a maybe 4-bedroom. Okay, and readiness of the project, it is a under construction. The purpose of buy, maybe he's saying that end use. This is the end use purpose I want, right? Because it's a ready to move in he's asking for. How are you going to convince this client? And the location, you don't like this location. You don't like the location. He like the property in the Koramangala area. You don't like the property, this property may be 20 kilometers away from the Koramangala. In this, if I take the example of this property, consider what could be the points you can allocate to him at this point of time.
The percentage of growth, what you can invest the money.
No, I'm saying we have a 5 points here, right? So what are the things matching? Easily matching, what are the things?
Budget.
Okay, so budget you got 1 point. Yes.
Readiness.
Okay.
Configurations.
Configuration, okay. One more point you got it.
End user.
Is an end user, okay. 3 point you got it, okay. What is not suiting here?
Location.
So you got 1 minus point of location, then
Readiness.
readiness, you want a ready to move in, right? Okay. Now in this scenario, what you understand from here? What do you understand from here?
We can still convince him for the readiness somehow.
Okay.
But about the location, we'll have to work a little harder.
Okay.
Put more efforts for giving him connectivity and
Okay. Anybody have any other opinion on this? Now you got a prospect with this. Okay. You need to understand my first statement. What was my first statement? My first statement was, if you have 3 out of 5, you can consider this as a prospect, right? You can consider this as a prospect. So in this case, if you look at it, if you really understand, you got an opportunity and you spoke to the client quite well and you understand, he got a 3 out of 5. What do you need to do? You really need to work with that client, right? Because it is coming 3 matching out of 5. It is a prospect client for me. Now you need to use your sales tricks to convince the client. That is what most of the time we need to do, right? So we need to use our sales trick to convince the client to close this deal. So if you look at here, he is not matching with the readiness of the project and he is not looking with the location. So you need to do more probing on this particular things. Sir, why do you require in Koramangala? You need to ask him more questions, because I need at least to get 1 more point, then the deal is closed, right? 4 to 5 is a closing, right? 2 to 3 is a kind of a prospect. You can consider if the 2 requirement is there or 3 requirement is there, it is a kind of prospect, or I can make him as a hot prospect. 4 to 5 is a closing. So if I can match at least 1 more point with this client, the closure is certain. How to do that? That is the most important things. So you need to ask him more questions. So now here you have a 2 option. Here one is location and second is the readiness of the property. Currently my property is under construction. Maybe it take another 3 years to complete, right? So you need to work in that area. You need to tell him, sir, at least, okay, we need to talk about the theme of the property. So this theme, this project we give as a New York theme, right? It's a township project, right? So where you need to highlight such things to convince them about the location and the readiness of the project. So how he can, in my way, I can say, sir, see, this is around 50 acres of property, right? So you have advantage of that. Koramangala currently, it is a completely packed place. Do you think, even forget about 50 acres, a 5-acre project or 5-acre land, open land, can I acquire in Koramangala area? It is not possible, right? So that's the reason we are coming little far from Koramangala and doing a beautiful property. The next point is that we are giving a New York theme for this project. Currently Shobha doing all project with a theme based, right? So what is the beauty of the theme base? It's come up like, as a New York once the project is ready. To leave such a project, waiting period of 3 years will not be big deal. You understand? And because if you look at it even today, if any car launching, if a Mahindra recently launched a car, the waiting period is 1.5 year time to get their vehicle after booking. So this is only 3 years for your dream home, and we are filled with a lot of amenities and the theme and everything. The waiting period of 3 years is worthwhile, and you can, up to this 3 years, you can maybe stay in the wherever the places are there. Okay, Koramangala or wherever the places are there, you book it here and you can transfer it. Maybe the client will be get convinced 50%, right?
Yes.
Definitely, you need to wait. Good things you need to wait. There is nothing readily available. Any good product will not be available readily. Somebody would have picked up. If you want to buy a Rolex watch, the waiting period is 1.5 year, right? Minimum. Different models, some models have 3 years, 4 years waiting period. So you need to create. So most of our clients are the premium clients. We are selling a premium product, so that waiting period somehow you can convince them. The location, again, you can ask him more question. Why do you like Koramangala? Because that is 20 kilometers away from here or far from Koramangala. We want to sell a property. So he may be saying, okay, my children's school is there, or my work location is there, or my wife go to maybe some parties close by. So you can say there are some time we can convince them. The travel time from Koramangala to here will be only 30 minutes, sir. Is that big thing you can manage? Or maybe like, they're saying my kids are going to the school, maybe National Public School in Koramangala. So you can ask them what class they are going at this point of time. Maybe they say it's elderly, or they're in a 12th standard, or maybe in 10th standard. You can say, sir, 3 years down the line, they will be out of school. I'm just giving some examples. It is not necessary in the everything. So you can say after 3 years, they may be out of school. Or maybe certain reasons like, their office, maybe you shift and you can tell some stories. Sir, some of my clients who bought in this property, and we sold this property, but 3 years down the line, they're working in a Manida Tech Park, right? So it is opposite direction. So because of your house, a career opportunity or growth comes to you, you will not say no to that, right? So you need to do a lot of brainstorming with the clients. You need to talk to them nicely, and you need to convince them and about the location. What is our basic idea when we talk all the things? We need to get one more points, right? We are already 3 points. This is a good client. It is a prosper client because 3 points are there with us. Now we need to somehow get one more point. Then we need to match it and we need to close it, right? So you guys understand the requirement of the buyer. Do you think any other 6th requirement of the buyer? I don't think so. These are the requirement of the real estate product we have, and we need to get to know any opportunity or anything you get it. You need to detail. Now I'm just telling in a very short way, but as a sales people or as a salesperson, you need to really need to deep diving into their requirements, and we need to able to give a solution, right? Always the sale happens when their problem is there. When we are trying to give a solution for their problem, the sales happens. So this may be their 2 problem, the location and readiness, and we are trying to convince them in that point, right? Now,